Hi everybody, it's Rod from the Reiki Academy. I was asked the other day, did I always see things? Have you always seen things? I remember a long time ago, I must have been 8 or 9 years old. I was living in a small town, South Dakota, and I was upset that I didn't have my own room. Well, small house, small town, South Dakota, but still I wanted my own room. So my parents decided that they would fix up the basement for me and let me stay downstairs. Well, basements are kind of like dugouts. They're a little scary. They have creatures that walk around and everything else down there. Well, creatures being salamanders that are this big. Different kinds of spiders, moths, and everything. I mean, it was kind of a scary little time down there. And the interesting part about this was that I was just coming into my own. I was awakening and seeing things. I remember the first night I was there. Now, the light switch was upstairs, and so I had to turn the light switch off and walk downstairs to get into bed. Now, the thing was that we didn't have cameras or anything else. Flashlights were expensive because batteries were expensive and that. So usually I had to go down by myself in the dark and find my bed by feeling around and that. I remember one night there was scratching at the window. Now, remember in the basements that windows are really low and everything else and they're not much of a window anyway. But I heard scratching. So I had actually turned off the lights and I heard the scratching and that. And I walked over to where the window is because you could just see a little bit of light coming in, full moon or whatever was going on. And I looked over there and all I could see was these red eyes looking back at me. I mean, a chill went through my whole body and it's like, what are these red eyes looking at me for? And so I got a little closer and I got a little closer. And as closer I got, I realized it was an animal of some sort or something. And it kind of freaked me out a little bit. It's like, that's kind of crazy that I'm seeing this. Didn't know what it was. I knew the window was locked and the screen on the window and everything would hold it back. And I kept hearing that dragging on claws on a screen. And I'm like, wow, that's kind of crazy. So I went back upstairs and turned the light back on, and I wanted to make sure that I was okay. And turned the light back on, and I went over to that window, and I looked up and there's nothing there. There was not a thing. I found my flashlight, and that had a little bit of light, and it shook it a little bit, and put the flashlight to the window, and nothing was there. Kind of freaky. So I went back upstairs with my flashlight in hand, and I turned the light back off. And I walked down the stairs and I saw those red lights again. And I flashed my flashlight at it. Nothing was there. That was kind of freaky, I thought. It was like kind of interesting. So I crawled in bed. And at the time, I didn't have a real bed. It was a cot that I was laying on. So I crawled into my cot and I put the blankets over my head and everything else and I kept hearing the scratching. Next thing I know, as I put the blanket down, I said, that's enough. And I looked up, and there was these two red eyes just staring at me. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I took a deep breath, and I just kind of puffed out my chest, and I sent energy out. I didn't realize what I was doing, but I felt a wave of energy go out. The red lights went way away, and they disappeared. Red eyes, I should say. And that was the craziest thing. Did you just see that? Oh my gosh, So I've been practicing since I was 8, 9 years old, doing that same thing, and that when I get into a scared moment, I just send energy out. It taught me that when we don't like close talkers, we don't like people getting really close to you and talking that. So it taught me when people got close to me and started talking to me really close, I would expand my energy and they'd back away. I realized when we bring energy into us, what we're doing is we're grabbing all that energy from people and we're pulling it in to us, towards us. So instead of retracting, we should expand. Expand your energy, expand your love. Remember, you're loved and I am blessed. Have an amazing day. Bye, guys.